My son hugged me at the airport terminal, told me how much he loved me, said this vacation would help me heal after losing my husband. I believed every word, but when I turned around to grab my suitcase, he was gone. And so was my luggage. All I had was a boarding pass to nowhere and a note that said, "You're on your own now, Mom. Don't expect us to take care of you forever." Before we continue, if this story resonates with you, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next story. 6 months before that airport, I buried my Raymond. 50 years of marriage, gone in a heartbeat. Massive heart attack took him while he was working in his garden. That man loved his tomatoes almost as much as he loved me. Almost. The funeral was beautiful. Our church was packed. People came from 3 states over. Raymond had built half the houses in our neighborhood back in the 70s and 80s. Price Construction was a name people trusted, a name that meant something. I remember standing at the grave, my son Jerome on one side, my daughter-in-law Kendra on the other, both of them dressed in black, both of them crying, or at least I thought they were crying. "We're here for you, Mama," Jerome said. He squeezed my hand. "Whatever you need. We're not going anywhere." I leaned into him. My baby boy. My only child. The son Raymond and I had prayed for. The one we'd sacrificed everything to put through college. He was a financial advisor now. Made good money. Lived in a big house in the suburbs. "Your father would be so proud of you," I told him. He didn't say anything back. Just squeezed my hand again. The days after the funeral blurred together. People brought casseroles, so many casseroles. My freezer was full. My house felt empty. 42 years in the same house. Every corner held a memory. Raymond's reading chair, the kitchen table where we'd had coffee every morning, the back porch where we'd watch the sunset. Jerome and Kendra came by every few days at first, then once a week, then less. I understood. They had their own lives, their own problems. I didn't want to be a burden, but I noticed things, small things at first. Jerome started asking questions about the house, about Raymond's business accounts, about the life insurance, about investments I didn't even know we had. "Just making sure everything's in order, Mama," he'd say, "making sure you're taken care of." Kendra would walk through the house with her phone out, taking pictures of the antique furniture Raymond and I had collected, of the paintings on the walls, of the china cabinet my grandmother had passed down. "Just admiring your taste, Dorothy," she'd say when I caught her. She never called me Mama, never even called me Mom. Just Dorothy, like I was some woman off the street. 3 months after the funeral, Jerome sat me down at my kitchen table. "Mama, Kendra and I have been talking," he said. "We're worried about you." "Worried? Baby, I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're living in this big house all alone. You're not eating right. You're not taking care of yourself." "I'm 68 years old, Jerome. I've been taking care of myself since before you were born." He shook his head. "That's not what I mean. We think you're depressed. We think you need help." "I lost my husband. Of course I'm sad. That doesn't mean I need help." "It does, though." He pulled out some papers, brochures for assisted living facilities. "Look at these places. They're nice. They have activities, other people your age. You wouldn't be so lonely." I pushed the brochures away. "I'm not going to some home, Jerome. This is my home. This is where Raymond and I built our life." "But Daddy's gone now." His voice was sharp, cold. "And you can't keep living in the past." That hurt. But I thought maybe he was just worried. Maybe he really did think he was helping. "I appreciate your concern, baby. But I'm staying right here." He left the brochures on the table, didn't say another word, just got up and left. But that wasn't even the worst part. 2 weeks later, Jerome and Kendra showed up with big smiles, excitement in their voices. Like they'd won the lottery. "Mama, we have a surprise for you," Jerome said. "What kind of surprise?" Kendra held up an envelope. We booked a family vacation, the three of us, to Hawaii. 2 weeks of sun, relaxation, healing. It's exactly what you need. My heart swelled. Maybe I'd been wrong about them. Maybe they really did care. Maybe this was their way of showing love. Hawaii? Oh, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Your daddy and I talked about it for years, but we never got around to it. Well, now you're going, Jerome said. We leave next Saturday. That soon? No time like the present. We've already bought the tickets, already booked the hotel. All you have to do is pack. I hugged them both, cried happy tears, thought maybe the grief was finally lifting, thought maybe we could be a real family again. That whole week, I packed, bought new clothes, got my hair done at the salon for the first time since the funeral. Ruby from church called me, surprised to hear excitement in my voice. Hawaii? She said. Girl, that's wonderful. Your son is taking good care of you. He is. I'm blessed. You sure are. Now you go and have the time of your life. You deserve it. Saturday morning came. Jerome picked me up at 5 a.m. The airport was 2 hours away. We needed to get there early for the international flight. I waited by the door with my suitcase, my carry-on, my purse with all my important documents, my passport that I'd rushed to get renewed. Jerome pulled up, alone. Where's Kendra? I asked as I got in the car. She's meeting us there. Had to handle something at work. The drive was quiet. Jerome didn't talk much, just stared at the road. I chalked it up to early morning tiredness. At the airport, he parked in the departure drop-off lane. You go ahead inside, Mama. I'll get your luggage from the trunk. I got out, walked toward the sliding doors, turned around to wait for him. That's when I saw it. Jerome getting back in the car, my suitcase still in the trunk, him pulling away from the curb. Jerome! I shouted. Jerome, wait! But he didn't stop, didn't even look back, just drove off and disappeared into traffic. I stood there, frozen, confused. Surely there was a mistake. Surely he'd circle back. Surely this was some kind of miscommunication. I pulled out my phone, called him, straight to voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. Called Kendra. Voicemail. My hands shook. I walked inside the terminal, found a bench, sat down, tried to make sense of what just happened. That's when I felt something in my coat pocket, a piece of paper I hadn't put there. I pulled it out, unfolded it, read it once, then twice, then a third time because my brain couldn't process the words. Mom, Kendra and I have talked about this long and hard. We can't keep supporting you financially and emotionally. It's draining us, draining our marriage, draining our future. The ticket in your pocket is one way, to Phoenix. We've arranged for you to stay with Aunt Loretta until you figure things out. We need space. We need our lives back. We need you to be independent. This is for the best. Don't call us. We won't answer. You're on your own now. Figure it out like we've had to figure out our own lives. Jerome. My chest tightened. My vision blurred. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. I checked my coat pocket. Found a boarding pass. Phoenix, one way, departing in 3 hours. Aunt Loretta, Raymond's sister. The woman who'd told me at the funeral that I should have made Raymond take better care of his heart. The woman who'd always treated me like I wasn't good enough for her brother. The woman who lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and could barely take care of herself. They'd shipped me off like unwanted furniture. I sat on that bench for an hour. People rushed past me, families laughing, couples holding hands, business people talking on phones. Nobody saw me. Nobody saw the 68-year-old woman whose whole world just collapsed. Then something shifted inside me. A memory pushed through the fog. Raymond's voice, clear as day, like he was sitting right next to me. Dot, if anything ever happens to me, don't let anybody push you around. You're stronger than you think. And remember, we've got insurance. Real insurance, not the kind Jerome knows about. The emergency fund. Raymond had set it up 10 years ago. Separate bank account. My name only. Money he'd saved from side jobs, from investments Jerome never knew existed. Raymond said it was for just in case. For emergencies. For situations where I might need to make a move without asking permission. I'd almost forgotten about it. But in that moment, sitting in that airport, abandoned by my own son, I remembered every word Raymond had said. If they ever make you feel small, Dot, you use that money to stand tall. I stood up, walked to the nearest trash can, tore up the boarding pass to Phoenix, let the pieces fall like confetti. Then I pulled out my phone. Didn't call Jerome. Didn't call Kendra. Didn't call Aunt Loretta. I called Victoria Chambers, the best estate attorney in 3 counties. The woman who'd helped Raymond set up that emergency fund. The woman who'd told me at the funeral, Dorothy, if you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you call me, day or night. She answered on the second ring. Victoria, it's Dorothy Price, I said. I need your help, and I need it now. Victoria met me at a coffee shop 15 minutes from the airport. She walked in wearing a navy suit, carrying a leather briefcase, looking every bit the woman who'd built her reputation destroying people who underestimated her. She sat down across from me, didn't order coffee, didn't waste time with small talk. Tell me everything, she said. So I did. The whole story. The funeral, the brochures for assisted living, the fake vacation, the airport abandonment. The note in my pocket. When I finished, Victoria's jaw was tight. Her eyes were hard. How much does Jerome know about your finances? She asked. He thinks he knows everything. Raymond's life insurance, the pension, the house, the savings account. What doesn't he know about? The emergency fund, the one you helped Raymond set up. Victoria leaned back. A small smile touched her lips. How much is in it? Last I checked, about $340,000. And Jerome has no idea? None. Raymond kept it completely separate, said it was for a rainy day. I looked out the window at the gray sky. Well, it's pouring now. Dorothy, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Victoria pulled out her briefcase, started laying papers on the table. What Jerome just did, abandoning a vulnerable adult, that's elder abuse. We could pursue criminal charges if you wanted. I don't want him in jail, I just want... My voice cracked. I just want to not feel like this, like I'm nothing, like I'm a burden he needed to throw away. Then we're going to do something better than jail. Victoria clicked her pen. We're going to make sure he never forgets what he lost. Over the next 2 hours, Victoria laid out a plan, a complete restructuring of my estate. Raymond had left everything to me when he died. The house, the business accounts, the investments, all of it in my name, which meant all of it was mine to do with as I pleased. Jerome thought he was next in line, thought when I died he'd inherit everything. The house alone was worth $800,000. The investment portfolio? Another $1 million too. Raymond's pension and life insurance? Already paid out to me. Sitting in accounts Jerome thought he'd eventually control. Here's what we're going to do, Victoria said. First, we're changing your will. Today. Right now. We're removing Jerome as beneficiary. And putting what instead? Charity. Scholarship funds. Your church. Organizations that actually help people instead of abandoning them at airports. My hands trembled. This felt real now. Final. What if he apologizes? What if this was just, I don't know, a moment of weakness? Victoria looked at me hard. Dorothy, did that note sound like a moment of weakness? Or did it sound like something he'd been planning? I thought about it, about the questions about the house, about Kendra taking pictures, about the brochures for assisted living, about how carefully they'd orchestrated this whole fake vacation. He planned it, I whispered. Exactly. So we plan better. But that wasn't even the worst part. Victoria pulled out another document. Second, we're setting up a trust. Irrevocable. You'll have access to the funds for your lifetime, but Jerome can't touch them, can't contest them, can't claim you were mentally incompetent when you made the decision because we're documenting everything. Today, right now, with witnesses. What about the house? That's the beautiful part. You're going to sell it. My heart dropped. Sell it? But that's my home. That's where Raymond and I... Was your home. Past tense. Victoria's voice softened. Dorothy, be honest with me. Does that house still feel like home, or does it feel like a museum of memories you're trapped in? I opened my mouth to argue, but nothing came out, because she was right. Every room in that house haunted me. Raymond's chair that nobody sat in, the garden he'd never finish, the bedroom where I slept alone for the first time in 50 years. Where would I go? I asked. Anywhere you want. But I have a suggestion. Victoria slid another brochure across the table. Not assisted living. Not a nursing home. Something different. Peaceful Gardens Senior Living Community, I read. What's this? Independent living. You have your own apartment, your own life. But there's a community. Activities, people. Support if you need it, independence when you don't. My mother lives there. She loves it. I looked at the pictures. Smiling faces, garden spaces, a library, a community room. People my age looking happy, looking alive. How much does it cost? Less than you'd think. And with the emergency fund plus the house sale? Dorothy, you could live there comfortably for the rest of your life and still have money left over for whatever you want. Something clicked in my mind. A shift. A realization. I didn't need Jerome. Didn't need his approval. Didn't need his fake concern or his manipulation. I had options. Real options. Raymond had made sure of that. Let's do it, I said. All of it. Victoria smiled. That's what I wanted to hear. Now we move fast. How long did Jerome say this vacation was? 2 weeks? Perfect. That gives us time to get everything in motion before he comes back. We spent the rest of that day in Victoria's office, signing papers, changing documents, restructuring my entire life with the stroke of a pen. By the time the sun set, Jerome was no longer my beneficiary. He had no claim to my estate, no access to my accounts, no future inheritance waiting for him, and I felt lighter than I had in months. The next day, Victoria drove me to Peaceful Gardens. The director, Diane Foster, met us at the entrance. She was a warm woman with kind eyes and a firm handshake. Mrs. Price, welcome. Victoria has told me about your situation. I want you to know you're safe here. She showed me an apartment on the second floor, 1 bedroom, full kitchen, living room with big windows that let in natural light. It wasn't big, but it was mine. I'll take it, I said. Don't you want to think about it? Diane asked. I've done enough thinking. I'll take it. Within 3 days, I'd moved in. Not with much. I'd left most of the furniture in the house for the estate sale Victoria was arranging. Just my clothes, my photo albums, Raymond's reading glasses that I couldn't bring myself to throw away, a few pieces of my grandmother's china. The rest? Let it go. Let it all go. The community was different than I expected. Better. I met Ruby Thompson on my second day. She was in the community room playing piano, gospel music that made my heart ache in the best way. You know that one? She asked when she saw me standing in the doorway. My mama used to sing it, every Sunday morning before church. Then come sing it with me. And I did. For the first time since Raymond died, I sang. My voice was rusty, shaky. But Ruby didn't care. She just played and smiled, and when we finished, she hugged me like we'd been friends for years. "I'm Ruby," she said. "Dorothy." "Well, Dorothy, I think you and I are going to get along just fine." She was right. Ruby introduced me to Lloyd Henderson, a retired postal worker with stories for days and a laugh that could fill a room. The three of us started having breakfast together every morning, dinner most nights. They didn't know my whole story at first, didn't know about Jerome or the airport or any of it. They just knew I was new. I was alone, and I needed friends. They gave me that without asking for anything in return. 2 weeks passed. The house sold faster than Victoria expected. A young family, first-time homeowners. They loved the garden, loved the big kitchen, loved the history in the walls. I signed the papers and didn't cry. Didn't feel sad. Just felt free. Jerome had no idea. His phone was still going to voicemail. So was Kendra's. They were probably on some beach somewhere. Probably celebrating getting rid of their burden. Probably planning what they'd do with their future inheritance. If only I had known what was coming. Victoria called me on day 13. "Dorothy, I need to prepare you for something." "What?" "Jerome and Kendra are coming back tomorrow, and when they go to your house, they're going to find new owners. When they call you, they're going to realize your number's been disconnected. When they try to access your accounts, they're going to hit walls." My stomach tightened. "What do you think they'll do?" "I think they'll panic. I think they'll realize they made a massive mistake, and I think they'll try everything in their power to undo it." Should I be scared? Scared? No. You have a restraining order in place if they try to harass you. You have legal documentation of elder abuse if they try to claim incompetence. You have every protection in place. But Dorothy, I need you to promise me something. What? Don't answer their calls. Don't respond to their messages. Don't let them manipulate you back into feeling guilty. You did nothing wrong. You protected yourself. That's not a crime. I promised, but I didn't know if I could keep it. The next evening, Ruby and I were in the community room, playing cards, laughing about Lloyd's terrible jokes, living a life that felt normal. That felt good. Then my new phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. Ruby looked at me. "You going to answer that?" I stared at the screen, let it ring, and ring, and ring. It went to voicemail. 30 seconds later, it rang again. Same number. "Maybe it's important," Ruby said. I answered, put it on speaker. "Mom? Mom, is this you?" Jerome's voice, panicked, desperate. "Mom, where are you? What's going on? We went to the house and there's people living there. They said you sold it. They said you moved. Mom, what did you do?" I didn't say a word, just listened. "Mom, answer me. This isn't funny. You can't just sell the house. That's our inheritance. That's our future. You had no right." I hung up. Ruby stared at me. "Who was that?" "Nobody important," I said. "Now are you going to play your card or just sit there all night?" The phone rang 6 more times that evening. I didn't answer. Didn't listen to the voicemails. Didn't check the texts that started flooding in. Because Victoria was right. I had done nothing wrong, and I wasn't going back to being the woman who let people make her feel small. That night, I lay in my apartment, in my bed, in my new life, and for the first time in 6 months, I slept through the night without waking up crying. But the next morning, everything changed. I was having breakfast with Ruby and Lloyd when Diane came rushing into the dining room. Her face was pale, her hands were shaking. "Dorothy, I need you to come with me, right now." "What's wrong?" "There are 2 people in the lobby, a man and a woman. They're demanding to see you. They're claiming you're mentally incompetent. They're threatening to call the police. They're saying you've been kidnapped." My heart stopped. Jerome and Kendra had found me. I followed Diane to the lobby. Ruby and Lloyd were right behind me. They weren't going to let me face this alone. Through the glass doors, I could see them. Jerome pacing like a caged animal. Kendra sitting in a chair, arms crossed, that same cold look on her face I'd seen 100 times before. "You don't have to go out there," Diane said. "I can call security. I can call the police." "No." My voice was steady, stronger than I expected. "Let them in." Diane hesitated, then nodded. She opened the door. Jerome rushed forward. His eyes were wild. His suit was wrinkled like he'd slept in it. "Mom, thank God. We've been looking everywhere for you. What happened? Why did you sell the house? Why won't you answer your phone?" I stared at him. This man who looked like my son, who sounded like my son, but who'd left me at an airport like garbage. "You need to leave," I said. His face twisted, confusion, then anger. "Leave? Mom, we came here to bring you home, to fix this mess you've made." "I am home." "This?" He gestured around the lobby, at the community board with announcements for bingo night and book club, at the comfortable chairs where residents sat reading newspapers. "This is a nursing home, Mom. You don't belong here. You belong with family. Family doesn't abandon people at airports." The words hung in the air, heavy, final. Kendra stood up, walked over. Her heels clicked on the tile floor. "Dorothy, I think you're confused. We didn't abandon you. We made a mistake. We panicked. Jerome's been under so much stress at work and we weren't thinking clearly. You wrote a note. You took my luggage. You left me stranded." "We were going to come back," Jerome said quickly. Too quickly. Like he was making it up as he went. "It was supposed to be like tough love, to show you that you needed to be more independent. We were going to call you that same day. We were going to explain." "Then why didn't you?" Silence. Ruby stepped forward, stood next to me. "I think you heard the lady. She asked you to leave." Jerome's eyes snapped to her. "This is a family matter. You need to stay out of it." "She is family," I said. "More than you've been in months." "Mom, please." Jerome's voice cracked. "I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I made a terrible mistake. But we can fix this. We can fix everything. Just come home. We'll work it out." "There's nothing to work out. I don't have a home to go back to. I sold it." "Then we'll help you find a new one. A nice condo, near us, where we can see you every day. So you can monitor me? Control me? Wait for me to die so you can inherit what's left?" His face went red. That's not what this is about." "Isn't it? You've been circling my assets since the day your father died, asking about accounts, taking pictures of furniture, pushing me toward assisted living so you could sell the house and pocket the money." "That's not true." But his eyes said different. Kendra's too. They looked at each other. A silent conversation I couldn't hear but could definitely read. "I want you to leave now," I said. "Both of you. And don't come back." "You can't do this," Kendra said. Her voice was sharp now, the fake sweetness gone. "We're your family. We have rights, legal rights." "Actually, you don't." Victoria's voice cut through the lobby. She walked in through the front doors, briefcase in hand, looking like a warrior ready for battle. "Dorothy, I got your text. Sorry I'm late." I hadn't texted her, but I loved her for showing up anyway. Jerome spun around. "Who are you?" "Victoria Chambers, Dorothy's attorney, and you must be Jerome, the son who committed elder abuse." "Elder abuse? That's insane. I would never—" "You abandoned a 68-year-old woman at an airport, took her belongings, left her stranded without resources. In this state, that's textbook elder abuse. I have documentation, witnesses, and a note in your handwriting explaining exactly what you did." Jerome's mouth opened, closed, opened again. I told you, that was a mistake." A mistake you're now trying to correct by harassing Dorothy at her new residence, by making false claims about her mental competence, by attempting to manipulate her into giving you access to assets you're no longer entitled to. No longer entitled to? Kendra's voice went shrill. That's her son. Of course he's entitled to nothing. Victoria pulled papers from her briefcase. Dorothy has restructured her entire estate. You're no longer beneficiaries. You have no claim to her property, no access to her accounts, no inheritance waiting for you. The color drained from Jerome's face. Mom, you didn't. You couldn't have. I did. But that's millions of dollars. That's Dad's legacy. That's supposed to be mine. Your father's legacy was kindness, loyalty, taking care of people who couldn't take care of themselves. You've shown none of that. I'm your son, he was shouting now. People in the community room were staring. You can't just cut me out. I'm your blood. Blood means nothing when it runs cold. Jerome lunged forward. Lloyd stepped between us. Ruby grabbed my arm. Victoria raised her phone. I'm recording this, she said calmly. Every word, every action. If you touch Dorothy or anyone here, I will have you arrested for assault. Your choice. Jerome stopped, his chest heaving, his fists clenched. For a moment, I thought he might do it anyway. Might let his rage take over completely. But Kendra grabbed his arm. Jerome, stop. This isn't worth it. Isn't worth it? That's my inheritance. That's my future. A future you destroyed the moment you left her at that airport, Victoria said. But that wasn't even the worst part. Victoria pulled out another document, one I'd never seen before. There's something else you should know, Jerome. Something I discovered when I was reviewing Raymond's full estate. What? His voice was hollow now, defeated. Your father knew. About your plans. About the assisted living brochures. About your intentions to take over Dorothy's finances. He came to see me 6 months before he died, updated his will, added a clause specifically designed to protect Dorothy from you. My heart stopped. Raymond knew? Victoria nodded. He'd overheard a conversation between Jerome and Kendra about how they were waiting for the old man to kick the bucket so they could get their hands on the real money. His words, not mine. Jerome's face went white. That's not... We never said that. Raymond was very specific. He recorded dates, times, conversations. He even had me install security cameras in the house without telling anyone. We have video, Jerome, of you and Kendra discussing your plans, of you practicing your concerned son routine, of you calculating how much money you'd make once both your parents were dead. The lobby was silent. Even the ticking clock on the wall seemed to stop. The emergency fund Dorothy used, Victoria continued. Raymond set that up specifically to give her an escape route if you ever tried to manipulate her. He predicted, almost to the letter, what you'd do. The fake vacation, the abandonment, the guilt trip afterward. He knew his own son that well. Tears streamed down my face. Not sad tears, grateful tears. Raymond had protected me even from the grave, had loved me enough to see the danger I couldn't see myself. Jerome's legs buckled. He sat down hard on one of the lobby chairs, put his head in his hands. I didn't mean... I never wanted... His voice broke. I loved Dad. No, you didn't, I said quietly. You loved what he could give you. Same way you loved me, only when there was something in it for you. Kendra grabbed her purse. Come on, Jerome. We're leaving. But now. She pulled him up, practically dragged him toward the door. Then she turned back, looked at me with pure hatred in her eyes. You're going to die alone, Dorothy. Old and alone. And you'll deserve it. Maybe, I said, but at least I'll die free. They left. The glass doors swung shut behind them, and for a long moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then, Ruby squeezed my hand. "You okay, honey?" "I think so." Lloyd patted my shoulder. "That took guts." Victoria packed up her briefcase. "They'll try to contest the will. They'll probably claim undue influence. But with Raymond's documentation, they don't have a case. You're safe." But I didn't feel safe. Not completely. I felt sad, relieved, angry, grateful. 1,000 emotions I couldn't name. I'd won. But what had I won exactly? I'd cut off my only child. Ended the bloodline Raymond and I had created together. Destroyed any chance of reconciliation. The price of freedom was higher than I'd expected. That night, I sat in my apartment, alone, thinking about Jerome as a little boy, how he'd climb into bed with us during thunderstorms, how he'd bring me dandelions from the yard and call them flowers, how he'd said, "I love you, Mama," every single night before bed. Where had that boy gone? When had he turned into the man who could abandon his own mother without a second thought? I didn't have answers. Maybe I never would. But 3 months later, something unexpected happened. I was in the community room, playing piano with Ruby, teaching her one of Raymond's favorite songs. Diane came in, looking nervous. "Dorothy, you have a visitor." My stomach dropped. "If it's Jerome..." "It's not. Well, you should see for yourself." A young woman stood in the lobby, maybe 25. Pretty face, nervous hands. She looked familiar somehow, but I couldn't place her. "Mrs. Price?" she said. "I'm Aaliyah, Jerome's daughter, your granddaughter." The world tilted. "Jerome has a daughter?" "Had. Past tense. He gave up custody when I was 3. Him and Kendra didn't want kids. Bad for their image or whatever. My mom raised me alone." "I didn't. I had no idea." "I know. He never told you. Never told anyone in the family. But I found out about what happened. About the airport. About the will. And I thought you should know you're not alone. You have family. Real family. If you want it." I stared at this girl. This stranger who carried my son's eyes. Raymond's smile. My grandmother's chin. "Why would you want to know me?" I asked. "After what Jerome did?" "Because you did something I've wanted to do my whole life. You stood up to him. You said no. You didn't let him control you." She took a step closer. "My mom died 2 years ago. Cancer. I don't have any family left except you. If you'll have me." My hands shook. This was a gift I didn't deserve. A second chance I hadn't asked for. "I'd like that," I whispered. "I'd like that very much." Aaliyah smiled, hugged me. And for the first time since the funeral, I felt like maybe, just maybe, there was hope. Not for Jerome. That bridge was burned beyond repair, but for something new, something better. 2 years have passed since that day at the airport. Jerome never reached out again, never apologized, never tried to make amends. I heard through Victoria that he and Kendra divorced. That he lost his job after clients found out about the elder abuse investigation. That he moved out of state to start over. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel responsible for his choices. He made his bed. He can lie in it. I have a new life now. Ruby and Lloyd are family. Aaliyah visits every Sunday. We cook together, share stories, build something real from the ashes of what was lost. I think about Raymond every day. Thank him for seeing what I couldn't see, for protecting me when I thought I didn't need protection, for loving me enough to give me an escape route. And sometimes late at night, I wonder if Jerome ever thinks about me, if he ever regrets what he did, if he ever wishes he could go back to that airport and make a different choice. But I don't wait for his call. Don't hope for his redemption. I've learned the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones we loved the best. And sometimes the only way to survive is to let them go completely. I'm 70 now, living in a place I chose, surrounded by people who value me for who I am, not what I have. Spending money I earned on a life I built from scratch after everything fell apart. I'm not rich anymore. The house money is mostly gone. The investments are smaller than they were. But I'm free. And freedom, I've learned, is worth more than any inheritance. Thanks for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please leave a like and subscribe. Have you experienced something similar? Share your story in the comments below.